Philippine military is considering to deploy its own militia forces in the West Philippine Sea, which would include the AFP's reserve force and fisher folk. The Interior Department has ordered a review of the police force's operating procedures after the fatal shooting of a teenager in Navotas City due to mistaken identity. And the Education Department has launched the revised K-10 curriculum, which has less subjects for the basic education system. Fast, focused, and fearless. Here's a roundup of stories we're watching now. I'm Sean Yao. The Armed Forces is planning to form a maritime militia in the West Philippine Sea amid China's continued harassment. Over 300 Chinese ships have been spotted in the disputed waters, including some Chinese militia masquerading as fishing vessels. These ships occasionally harass Philippine vessels, which was the case in the water cannon attack last weekend. Because of this, the AFP is looking to form its own group to counter China's forces, which may include fisherfolk as reserve forces.
So we are also trying to develop our reservists who will be able to operate in the sea. Yun nga yung gusto nga natin, yung mga fisher folks natin ay gawin din natin mga reservists at tuturuan natin sila kung paano sila makakatulong sa pagdepensa ng ating bansa.
In line with that, one fisherfolk group from Pag-asa Island is okay with the suggestion for them to be deployed in the West Philippine Sea as reservists for as long as they are not made to carry firearms. Pag-asa Island Fisherfolk Association President Larry Hugo said this would be a big help to the country. But Hugo emphasized that they are only willing to provide reports and not take up arms. This way, the lives of fisherfolk will not be threatened. AFP Chief Romeo Browner earlier said they are looking into the deployment of reservists in the disputed waters as tensions heat up over there.
Magbibigay na lang po kami ng mga impormasyon kung ano pong nakikita man namin dito sa West Philippine Sea. And then, hindi na po kami gagamit ng kahit anong uri ng armas. Kung malaman po ng mga Chinese na yung mga mangingisda po ay may mga armas, baka lalo lamang pong mapahamak yung mga mangingisda.
In other news, the Philippine Reclamation Authority admits that it is difficult to suspend some of the ongoing reclamation projects in the Manila Bay. Recall that the government has suspended all reclamation projects in the Bay while the review of their environmental and social impact is ongoing. But speaking to the big story, PRA Assistant General Manager Attorney Joseph John Literal says it is difficult to suspend these projects when so much money has already been spent by developers, specifically for 3 ongoing projects. He also notes that the process of approvals and securing permits for the projects is quite tedious, which can take 2 to 3 years after applying with the PRA. Still, Attorney Literal says the agency will follow the government's orders.
Financially, they have already spent so much on the studies. And secondly, foreign vessels and crews are already in. And, whenever these vessels would have their operation, they would be assessed with demurrage and other fees by the authorities. However, being an agency under the Office of the President, we have to comply with the orders of the President.
We have more stories for you after this quick break. Keep it here on One News. You're still watching One News Now. I'm Sean Yao. The Interior Department has directed the National Police Force to review its operational procedures after the fatal shooting of teenager Jemboy Baltazar due to mistaken identity. Interior Secretary Ben-Hur Abalos himself is lobbying for this to make sure that the incident will not be repeated. He says the cops involved have been slapped with criminal and administrative cases. Abalos and PNP Chief Benjamin Acorda Jr. have separately visited the 17-year-old's wake on Thursday. Baltazar was shot dead in Navotas after cops mistook him for a murder suspect.
Nakakulong na ang ating na-involved dito. Dalawang kaso, isang kriminal ang sinampa at yung administratibo. Ibig sabihin administratibo yung kung sila ba'y maano bilang pulis pa. No, sila ba'y maging bahagi pa ng kapulisan. Nagpatawag ako na aming dapat i-review ang procedural, operational procedure. Kamukha nitong hot pursuit. Anong dapat gawin? Dapat di na maulit ito.
Jemboy's mother has also arrived here in the country from Qatar. Rodaliza Bartolome was welcomed at the airport by Migrant Workers Department Officer in Charge Bernard Olalio, Undersecretary Hans Kakdak, and Overseas Workers Welfare Administration Administrator Arnel Ignacio. The agencies reportedly vowed to give 100,000 pesos in aid to Rodaliza and shoulder the funeral and burial expenses of Jemboy. Both offices have also promised to help the bereaved mother to find employment here in the country and to assist her with the education expenses of her two other children. In other news, fewer subjects will be offered from kinder to grade 10 as the Education Department launches the revised K-10 curriculum in select schools this year. Here's the report.
The performance of Filipino learners in assessments have been lagging in the past 2 years, particularly those in elementary. That's according to Vice President and Education Secretary Sara Duterte herself.
The past years shows us the alarmingly poor performance of Filipino learners in national and international assessments. This brought to light questions on the effectiveness of the kinder to grade 10 curriculum.
Duterte said one of the factors to this could be the congestion of subjects taught in schools. Combined to this, the overworked teachers.
Both teachers and learners were overburdened with lessons and other school tasks and activities.
With this, the DepEd targets to strengthen the quality of education in the country through the Matatag K-10 curriculum, which was launched on Thursday. Under this curriculum, the previously 7 subjects taught in grades 1 and 2 will be cut to 5. These are language, reading and literacy, mathematics, makabansa, and GMRC or good manners and bright conduct. DepEd said this marks the return of GMRC after it was removed in the past decade. Meanwhile, there will no longer be a separate mother tongue subject, but it will still be used as a mode of instruction depending on area. DepEd also said it will add subjects gradually as students' level goes up. For one, the language subject in grade 1 will be replaced with Filipino. Grade 3 students will have 6 subjects with the addition of science. Grades 4 to 10, on the other hand, will have 8 subjects: Filipino, English, mathematics, science, araling panlipunan, technology and livelihood education, MAPE and GMRC. For those in kinder, their curriculum will be play-based, which means no particular subjects will be taught. The pilot run of Matatag curriculum is set this upcoming school year in select schools. Teacher will undergo trainings while the printing of new textbooks are underway. This new curriculum, however, faces criticism from the ACT Teachers Party List.
Tingin natin hindi ito magiging holistic na education para sa ating mga kabataan at sana dinaan muna sa consultation ng DepEd itong paggagawa ng curriculum.
For its part, DepEd said the new program underwent public review and got a 96% approval. DepEd targets the full implementation of the Matatag K-10 curriculum in 2027. For One News, Gio Robles, News 5.
Let's now take a quick look at today's other top stories. The Philippine consulate in Honolulu says that no Filipinos have died from the wildfires that is spreading through Hawaii. The consulate, though, is constantly in touch with local authorities there for updates. Filipinos in the area are being urged to take precautions and evacuate their homes if needed or if ordered. According to Hawaii's government, 53 individuals have died while hundreds remain missing. The wearing of face masks in churches is now optional in Manila. Archbishop Jose Cardinal Advincula noted that priests must properly discern when to observe COVID protocols, especially when holding liturgical celebrations outside of churches. And another oil price hike is looming. The Energy Department estimates that next week, diesel prices could go up by 1 peso and 10 centavos to 1 peso and 40 centavos per liter. Meanwhile, gasoline could be more expensive by 1 peso and 35 centavos to 1 peso and 65 centavos per liter. This would be the 5th consecutive week of oil price hikes. One News Now will be back tomorrow at 7:30 a.m. I am Sean Yao. We are One News. All sides, all the time.